It's very much alive there, folks. Welcome aboard to the Blind Tinkerer's Workbench. Good morning, everybody. How you doing today? Today is Monday, and I got the scanner on the bench here, trying to look at what could be wrong. I was told by one of my viewers that there could be a broken connection on the PC board where the antenna goes in. I looked at it and I didn't see anything. And the antenna on this scanner is in two places here, and I'll bring the camera over to you, to the radio I should say, and I'll show you. So we'll turn this down. Okay, if you look right here, this is a BNC connector that I have an antenna connected to it. This happens to be just an old broken oscilloscope probe that the probe is no good on. It's one I had years ago, and I use it for an antenna testing. So it just has a wire going here and it's clipped on here. Here's the BNC connection right here. It goes in this big solder glob here. And then this little threaded area here is where the antenna that you screw into the top, the telescopic, it goes in there. So it's a common point. Now I looked as much as I could, but I'm not going to try to take this board out. This is, I had an awful hard time getting this cover off. Trying to get this cover off of here. And I'm not going to attempt to take this board out, because I'll end up breaking it. You got the power cord going in here and going through here, and it's still plugged in, so I better be careful with my screwdriver here. So turning this on, and when I key the transmitter, in this case the Bofang UV5R here, 5R plus, I get nothing on this using Simplex 14652. I got to get the book on this. I had the book on this. I haven't used it so many years I forgot how to use it. All the memories were gone in this thing, and that's probably why it just went dead. I mean, all the channels I had programmed in there, I haven't used this in about 15 years. So this was sitting in the shed that long. All the channels just all of a sudden just disappeared one day, and everything just went to zero. And it don't seem to stay in there, and I don't see a memory battery. But anyways, I have to just hit the memory. You see, if I want to go to let's see, 162. I can't see that. Okay, 162.55 is the weather channel. I can get that on my Bofang UV5R by just programming that in, and I can receive it. But nothing on the scanner here. Nothing. The antenna is connected. I can take a, there's nothing there. See, I wouldn't, this is where the rod would go in. The screws in the top, and I'll show you. Goes in like that. So it's a common place, whether you use the BNC or whether you use this, but I'm not getting anything on it. And something went dead in it. I have no idea. Obviously, I'm getting a hiss, so it isn't the B plus. You know, we're getting the obviously the power supply's working. If it wasn't, you wouldn't be getting a display on here or anything else. So I'm not even going to pull this board out. I'll probably just take and dump this thing at this spring, probably at the indoor flea market. I can't remember. I think I bought this used, and it worked very well, and then one day I used to have it in the house all the time, and that was back when a lot of the signals were, you know, being transmitted by analog. Now everything's I know is digital now and really up there in frequency. But I should be able to pick up the weather, and I don't. And I don't get anything on the 2 meter when I transmit. So I removed the antenna off of it, but there isn't anything else here, and I got to be careful. I don't with a metal. I don't have any. Let's see. I got a pen here. I can use this very gently here. Could be the crystal. I have no idea what it does. I don't know this stuff. You know, I don't understand it. All I know is it got a lot of IF cans in here. And all the electrolytics, I don't see any bulging or any stuff coming out. The only thing I see is around here, discoloration around here. But that looks like it was something, some kind of a glue or something. I don't know, but everything's solid. I mean, I don't hear anything coming in. You know, and the connectors, what few there are, that's the speaker here. There's chips in here. Power supply. Other than that, like I say, all I do is tinker. I can't fix things like this. You know, I don't even know what I'm doing. I never could figure out solid state. It's just too much, too complicated, too congested. Can't trace it out. And on examination, I don't see anything broken here. And this is one big area from the center conductor of the BNC jack is soldered right to here, and then there's a little stud sticking out. You might be able to see it right there. And that is where that telescopic whip plugs in, and it goes down to a hole here in the top of the case. So we'll just close this back up, as I'm not going to pull this board out. Not going to pull that board out. That's in there. I mean, I would wreck it. I would wreck it. And so we're going to get on to the HT. I'm going to show you what the HT is doing now and what it's not doing, and I think there's a problem with the ALINCO. So, by the way, this is a Pro 2039. I bent up the contacts much higher than they were in there. As a matter of fact, they're bent up higher than it originally was. I don't understand why they went bad, but anyways, it's working. But the radio keeps cutting out. Now, the batteries are Rayovac alkaline, which I've always used. I never use rechargeables in here. The batteries are Rayovac alkaline, and as you can see by my meters, I was reading 9.49 to 9.5 volts. Unloaded. And the batteries are fresh. They're brand new. I just took them out of the package. I turned this off like that. I put it off on the side of the bench, and I found it back on again. Something is wrong in here. All right, it's back on. Now that's 146.52. When I key the transmitter, nothing happens. Here is the Bofang sitting right here. It too is on 146.52, which is this 2 meter simplex frequency. I can key this up, and you might hear a little tiny noise in here. Then this cuts, the screen goes out, and I know it's not the batteries. See that? It goes out and comes right back on. But there's no transmitting light, because I'm pretty sure there's a transmit light on this thing. It's dead. It just went blip, and that's all you get out of it. And the battery indicator looks like it's dropping down. I know the batteries are good. So there might be a short in this radio. Now I got a posting from Buddy. on my last video, and I think he may be interested in maybe looking at this for me. And now that I know that it's almost certain it's in the radio and it's unreliable on the contacts back there, that I'll either have to get another battery pack for this, even if it's the same damn lousy AA holder type, which I don't like, or I'm going to have to invest in a battery, which the cheapest you can find on eBay. I looked all over again after someone told me it was $16. I haven't found a battery under $20. One place only, and that's, I think it was free shipping, but no charger. None of them have the charger, and the charging pins on the back of the battery are located here, just like on the Bofang. See how the Bofang is? You've got the charging pins right here, and you drop it into a charger. On your rechargeable batteries, you'll have you'll have 2 or maybe 3 contacts here where you just drop it in. But because this is a battery holder, not an actual self-contained rechargeable battery pack, it won't have these on there. You've got to take the batteries out of here and charge them in a separate charger. In the book, I downloaded the book on this. I have the manual, but don't ask me where it is. It's in one of my dozens of boxes, probably in the main shed somewhere, very musty. That, you know, when I got this, it had the book with it. But I downloaded the book, and I mentioned something about alkalines. I mean, NiCads, rather. I'm sorry, NiCads. But it also said you can use alkalines in it, and that's all I've ever used in it. But anyways, I'd have to study the book, because I don't even know how to turn the volume up on this. This here knob changes the frequency. See, if I turn it, I'm on, all these years, these programmed repeaters are still in there. As a matter of fact, at the time, I even put some in here up in New Hampshire when I was there, but I was up in the White Mountains, and I wasn't able to get any repeaters at all up there back in 2006. But I had programmed a lot of them in there, including our local repeater, which is 14697 is one of them. And that's a simplex there. But there's an issue with this radio. Goes right out as soon as I hit the key. And I don't recall the display going out before like that. The battery indicator up in the upper right-hand corner goes down to nothing and then comes back up again. That would seem to indicate that the batteries are dying out. I don't think that's the case. I think there may still be corrosion in there, although I got everything out of the battery connections and cleaned it up good. There's a possibility there could be an issue with the transmitter in this thing. Something shorted out, maybe. Sitting so long, 12 years actually, in the main shed, sitting there so long that something happened. I guess when you don't use electronics for 10 or 12 years, a lot of things can go wrong with this stuff. You know, you really need to keep these things used, maybe even several times a year. But I lost interest in the 2-meter, kind of, and so I just put it away and never used it. So I think there might be an issue with the radio itself. So, with that in mind, the radio shop, Buddy, I think, if I got his posting correct, may be willing to look at this. I can send it to you. Just let me know what it's going to cost. I don't want any freebies. And, if it don't work, or you can't do anything with it, I might as well give you the radio, because the Bofang is nowhere near as good, but for $25, The Bofang UV5R and any of these Bofang radios, the modulation is usually very low, and you have to take a tiny drill bit by hand and ream out the microphone hole, which is located below the square red button and to the right of the button below it. There's a little tiny hole there, and you got to ream it out without going in too far to get better audio. That's from what I've been reading. So that's the story there. I've seen Buddy work on transceivers, very complicated transceivers, and if anybody can do the repair on this, if there's a problem with it, he can do it. And I wouldn't hesitate to send it to him if he was willing to do that. I know he's very busy, so if you can't do it, that's not a problem. I don't use it anyways that much. I'm not active in ham all that much, except for the ham radio auctions. But it would be nice to get this going. And I can depend on it. I've never had a problem with the contacts on the back of this thing. And like I say, the contacts on the back of this battery pack never gave me problems before. There is no corrosion. I cleaned them again, and I used a pencil eraser on the two tits there on the back of the radio to shine those contacts up, and that didn't seem to make any difference. So I had to pull out the contacts on the battery pack even further, and they're actually distorted right now. I can't do it very good, and let me show you what I had to do in order to get this thing to at least come on. Okay, I brought these up quite a bit, but if you look right here, this end came out. It was like hooked underneath, and this came out. I couldn't get this all back in. It's really distorted. It really looks like hell. But this one sits up a hair higher than this one, but it is working. And this one's the negative. But it is working, so I'm not going to mess around with it. Now, when I first got this out of the shed, these contacts were lower originally. So what happened and why it stopped working, I don't know. But it's a mess. And I think if I get a regular battery for this instead of these, I think the current would be better. The current delivery on a, well, it'd probably be a nickel metal hydride battery, but even if it's a NiCad, is going to deliver more current than an alkaline, which is what's in here, 6 alkalines. So, but the problem is getting a battery for this is one thing, but charging it is another. And it would be very awkward for me to tape 2 wires on the back of the battery that I buy and hook it to my power supply and charge it. I mean, that's a real pain in the, you know what. Now, this isn't even transmitting, so I don't really have to identify myself. Because watch what happens. And I got the Bofang turned up here. I'll turn it up louder. It's on 146.52. There's a little static came through there. Alright, I'm going to key this. And all you're going to hear is a little tiny noise, and that's it. Normally you'd hear feedback. Because I got this volume all the way up on this thing now. Here we go. Nothing. It just went right out. Now, battery's flashing, but I know the batteries are good. They're brand new out of the package. And I've used alkalines before, and I've gotten a lot of use out of this radio when I first got it. Alright, that's it. That's the verdict on that. So I think there's an issue with the radio, and there is unreliable contacts in the back of that thing also. It's not a very good design. But that's the way it is. So, buddy, if you're interested in doing it, I'd be happy to send it to you. And take a look, and maybe make a video of it if you have time. If you don't, not a problem. I appreciate everybody watching and the input on this, on the hints and everything as to the contacts. Right now the contacts are working. WV Westlife had suggested putting some aluminum foil in there. That's a good idea. I didn't do that because now it's working. It's making contact, but it isn't staying on. It behaves like the batteries are no good, but the batteries are good. So I don't know what else to say. By the way, before I close this video out, I took this little cover off. It just popped right out. Just put a little tiny screwdriver and pull it out. There's no power connection in there. I'm going to be careful not to put my screwdriver right down in there, but you can see what it is. It looks like a little tiny connector here. There's no way to put power in here, so I have no idea what this area is here. No idea whatsoever. It might be maybe for a programming cable or something. That seemed like an inconvenient way to do it. I don't know. But anyways, that's what it looks like inside there. So it's nothing that I can put power in here. So the power has to be applied to these two nipples here. I shined them up with a pencil eraser. This is the negative and this is the positive, as I said. Another peculiar thing about this radio is amateur radios are under Part 97 of the FCC rules. Take a look at this. FCC Part 15. Part 15 is Citizens Band, GMRS, and FRS. Why is this Part 15 here? This is a 2-meter FM transmitter, not UHF, just strictly 2 meters. But it says Part 15 compliant. I don't know if you can see that, but I was surprised when I noticed. I never noticed that before. You know, I got it, given, like I say, I won it. So why it would say Part 15 up here, I don't know. But anyways, that's it. So I investigated and did everything I could. And, well, the battery contacts are working. I cleaned them as good as I possibly could. And I don't even know if it's in focus, but I'll know when I play the video back. Thanks for watching. I appreciate all the help that everyone has given me. Take care, everybody.